guys, welcome back to a different little episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today I'm going to tell you a story that actually happened today, and that, this isn't really scripted. I just thought it'd be kind of interesting to see the behind the scenes at Del Rey Watch or a watch dealer and how I basically lost a $10,000 sale. Am I upset about it? Not particularly. I think I did the right thing. But you guys let me know what you think. Now, of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. I'm wearing my Habring Messina Lab limited edition of, I believe, 50 pieces. I waited a long time for this watch. Deadbeat seconds. Little independent watchmaker designed by Messina Lab, William Messina. Someone who I like to consider almost a friend at this point. I've bought so many of his watches, we've chatted a few times, but I'm absolutely loving it. Yeah, a little small at about 38.5 millimeters, but I think it fits me quite well. And also, guys, don't forget to check out delreywatch.com. Just got in a beautiful blue dial Girard-Perregaux Laureato chronograph, actually quite desirable in the blue dial, pretty hard to find. An Omega Planet Ocean first generation with an orange bezel. Fantastic dive watch for the person who doesn't have the highest budget. And of course, the Grand Seiko GMT. Everybody knows I love Grand Seiko. Well, maybe they don't if they haven't watched videos recently, but I have become a Grand Seiko fan. I think the quality speaks for itself. And actually, I'm thinking of picking up another Grand Seiko myself for the collection, so let me know. Also, guys, I'm shooting from home today, had a little internet outage at the office, so came home from work, so excuse the camera setup. The microphone isn't optimal, it's pretty much being shot on my iPhone. And also, I'm moving out of my condo and into like a single family home. So stick around for the end of the video, because I have a question to ask you guys, thinking of doing a few projects, and I would like your input. But yeah, so let's talk about today, when I was in the office earlier. So a customer calls me up. I guess he's a decently nice guy on the phone. Asks me about a watch, about $10,000, a watch we've had in stock for a decent amount of time. So I'm pretty darn happy to sell it. And we're talking, and he says, I say, what's your name, sir? He says, oh, my name is John Smith. Not his real name, I'm just changing it. And I kept thinking to myself, this name really rings a bell, he asked me questions about the watch, yada, yada, yada. I answer them. Guy seems to know what he's talking about quite a bit. He says, I'd like to buy it. I'm like, okay, we'll go to our website, check out, and then send us a copy of your ID, which is standard procedure for credit card processing. All right, fantastic. And I'm thinking to myself, I sold this watch. I could not be happier. $10,000 is a pretty decent sized sale for us, and it's a watch that's been in stock a while. All right, wait 10 minutes. The checkout happens, I get the email notification, payment comes through, ID comes through, I read his name again, I'm like, John Smith. Why do I know this name? It's driving me nuts. So I go to my database, the Del Rey Watch database, where we keep all past order information, type in John Smith, and an account pops up, and I go to his purchase history, but he hasn't purchased anything, which is weird, because in our system, the way we do it, for you to have an account, you must have either purchased, serviced, or sold us something. There must have been some kind of watch transaction. This guy's history was empty, but he had an account. That's never really happened to me before. So I go to, my business partner, John P. I go, John, what does this mean? He has an account. I was like, well, he must have done some kind of business with us, and then you deleted the record. And I'm like, well, the only time I do that is if there's a return or something bad. I don't know, a return or a deal fell through. But, this name is really familiar. I'm like, okay. So I go to my guys in the office, Jacob, Jonathan Ochman, Carlos. I ask everybody, guys, has anybody dealt with this person? And one of my guys does say, oh, Mr. Smith? And I'm like, yeah, Mr. Smith. And he's like, you don't remember from a few months ago? I'm like, no, remind me. Well, we sold a Panerai a few months ago. And unfortunately, and this is fully my mistake, when it's my mistake, I admit it, happy to admit it, the listing said it was automatic, but the watch was indeed manual wind. Totally my error. We ship it, Customer gets it. He calls, and he doesn't speak to me. He speaks to one of my associates, and he mentions, the error. And the first thing, and as he's telling me the story, I say, well, hold on, was this on the phone? And my guy says, yeah, it's on the phone. I'm like, well, what date? So we look at the date the original watch sold. I go look at the phone records. I go pull the phone call. And, this gentleman was, rightfully upset. Don't get me wrong. You spend a few $1,000s on a Panerai, you get something that's not as described. I get it. But the abuse this man was spouting. My guy, was apologizing profusely. He said, of course you can return it. We'll pay for the return shipping. We apologize. Is there anything else we can know? And then this guy wasn't having anything. He was cursing. He was yelling. He was threatening. He was shouting, just hurling abuse. And I totally understand the issue, right? I mean, if something was misdescribed, and I get when you're excited and you're spending this kind of money that you're upset. And honestly, since we were the ones doing everything wrong, my guy handled it perfectly, tried to accommodate in any way possible. Of course, we'll send you a return shipping label overnight. We're so sorry. We apologize. Listen, there was a mistake made. We are human. It does happen. But unfortunately, this guy wasn't having any of it. And it's just the abuse on that phone call, the name calling, the threatening. It was honestly, it was kind of awful. And I'm sorry my colleague had to go through that. And I remember he told me at the time, but he didn't make it really sound this bad. He said there was an upset client. This is what happened. And, he told me about it, and he told me what he did, and I said he handled it well. But I went to listen to this phone call, and honestly, it was ugly. It was really rude, and I got upset. I got quite upset, because don't get me wrong, $10,000 is a lot of money, and we're here to serve. Customer service is huge, and I kind of do believe in the adage, the customer is always right. Not in this case. You can't treat one of my guys like that and expect me to do business with you again. So I call the customer. I explained the situation. I told him I would give him a full refund, but that we weren't going to sell him the watch, and we don't want him as a customer. And and then the abuse started on me. Threats, physical. At this point, I just hung up the phone. And I'm not making this video to kind of defend my actions, even though I think I did the right thing. And to be honest, you guys probably wouldn't have known anything if I didn't mention anything. But it was an interesting story today. I get we're here to serve, and I get that I personally messed up because I'm the one who cataloged the watch. I totally understand that. But this was a line I don't think should have been crossed. We're all humans here. I think we should treat ourselves with dignity, decorum, and a little bit of respect, especially when we are doing everything possible to help you out. And what I heard and what I was told when I spoke to him, it was, no person should have to go through that. And you know what? Screw it. I don't need the $10,000. I don't need that guy's money that badly. We'll be just fine without the sale. Don't get me wrong, would have loved it. Would have been a fantastic little sale to put on the books. But I'm putting my foot down. Excuse my language, I don't give a shit. You don't talk to my guys that way. You don't talk to me that way. And I'm not selling the watch. You can keep his damn money. But that is a story that happened to me today. It's the first time in 10 years where I've had to fire a customer. I've had situations before. But honestly, I've kind of been trained to deal with them. And one thing is speaking to me that way, but speaking to my, to one of my employees, that's really what really, really upset me. Whatever, the guy can go shove it. He's not getting the watch. But on a side note, as I said, I'm leaving my condo in about 2 weeks, moving into a single family home, still here in Miami. Something a little bit more space, not quite the same view, but I finally have a 2-car garage so I can put my babies kind of parked, in my own home. I'm going to have a little bit of bigger space. I'm going to have a dedicated YouTube studio. And I was thinking of maybe starting a second YouTube channel. I mentioned this before. I want to start a travel YouTube channel, but there's no traveling during COVID. But I want to start maybe a second YouTube channel not about watches. Maybe about, kind of me. I don't want to say vlogs, not like me, my life, but maybe talking about cars, do some car videos with my cars, talk about the business side of Federico Talks Watches, maybe discuss, interesting stories that happen to me at work, kind of like this, but it would be on the second channel. Would that be something you guys would want to watch? Let me know. If you really do, give this video a thumbs up and mention down below you want to see that second channel. I really am considering doing it, but I don't want to do it if no one's going to watch. So let me know what you guys think. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really does help, and don't forget to subscribe. Guys, thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.